Nobody else has been able to do what YouTube's done. But at the end of the day, I think it's their long form content that's just revolutionized everything, and nobody can replicate it. And it will never, at this point, it's so leaps and bounds over everybody. It's really, you can't do anything about it. It's given opportunities to these smaller creators who I'm going to get into. What I'm going to get into now is these smaller creators that I watch. And one of the biggest influences I've had on my filmmaking career, his name's Danny. His last name's Gevirtz. I might be saying that wrong, but he's a filmmaker from Pennsylvania. So what he's doing now, which I think is incredible, is what he's already filmed it. He filmed a feature-length, actual legit film, not just a simple old YouTube film that you see sometimes that are like the quality's not good. No, he rented a. I don't want to. It's a Sony, just a high-end Sony camera, kind of like their version of the ARRI Alexa Mini with all the Cook cinema lenses. I mean, it's a $400,000 film that was crowdfunded a little bit, but mainly he got producers like other big YouTubers to pitch in. He has sponsors by Milanote, like these other companies that back him. And Tate, sorry, the dog's barking. But what he did was, yes, this film is going to be a feature film, and that is going to be an amazing film. But he did all these BTS films, so like behind the scenes stuff, to put on YouTube, which I think is revolutionary because most people were like more hyped to see the making of this film than the actual film itself. And it also goes vice versa. Now that everybody that's watched the behind the scenes stuff, they're going to want to watch the finished product too. So I thought it was genius, and the quality he puts out, the storytelling. I mean, he's phenomenal what he's able to do with a small crew. This Danny guy, incredible. I think people like this are going to change the game, because now I've seen a big switch to even larger, like huge creators like Andrew Schultz, who's a huge comedian that's on Joe Rogan all the time. People like that switch to YouTube because you don't have to answer anybody. Yeah, sometimes YouTube takes your stuff down if it's inappropriate, but for the most part, like they give you freedom to do whatever you want, unless you're like Andrew Tate or someone like that who's polarizing or whatever.
Well, but you get a lot more freedom than you would on,
anything else.
Anything else, like dealing with the FCC or anything like that is, you just get a lot more control over what content you want to put out, as opposed to like I said before, going to someone saying, "This is what I want to do," and they go, "Hey, this is a great idea. I need to change like one or two things. Actually, we need to change like 20 things," and then you go into that whole debacle.
I think at the end of the day, it gives you agency. That's what YouTube provides for you. And creators like that, it gives them an opportunity to become what Danny said. Essentially, he was like, "Listen, I could sit here and wait 30 years for my turn to become a director, because that's usually like the traditional route to become a director, or I can make it happen now and go all in and direct my own film. And why can't I make it happen now?" So yes, I do think we as a culture, we're a lot more impatient now, but I think that impatience can be good at times. Nicky, I know you wanted to talk about the what's his name?
Windigoon.
Yeah, so I remember a while ago you mentioned to me. You said he crowdfunds some of his stuff, like.
So Windigoon, and he has a video on it where he advertises it, but he and a few other YouTubers, one who's a professional filmmaker who does some fan films, they were making a fan film for a video game series that I used to play actually in middle school when I was younger, called S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And they wanted to basically make a. I did, yeah. I played Shadow Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat. But anyway, so he and a few other YouTubers were getting together to film. I'm not sure if they're filming it right now, but they're filming a S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Fan film. and it's promising to look very good. And he basically went on his channel, was like, hey, we're starting a crowdfunding. And I believe he ended up, and I might be wrong, but I believe he said he ended up raising 300,000 from his viewers. I think he started his YouTube channel when the pandemic started, and his channel just grew so quickly. And he puts out really good content.
Dude,
but
this
as
is
you can see
from
right
his
now,
film right here.
yeah,
Oh
That
wow,
looks pretty sick, dude.
doesn't it look great, man?
Oh, Stalker Anomaly or Stalker in general is
Shadow of the Zone is what it was called. Yeah, I've been a fan of his for a few years now, and he puts out really good content. And I was talking to Holt about this, and we were writing our script together, and I was like, yeah, this guy I know, Windigoon, he's just was crowdfunding a fan film that he was working with some other YouTubers, and they raised like 300. I think they raised $300,000. You'd have to fact check me on that, but it was like a ridiculous amount of money for crowdfunding. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And for someone on YouTube who just got started like only a few years ago, like 2 years ago or so, it's incredible just the amount of community and the amount of financial freedom, as you would call it, you could get from just doing that. And that's a short period of time,
Imagine that he crowdfunded that and he's like, all right, cool. Takes off with 300,000.
I mean, yeah, no, but
I mean, but then he would lose all credit. I mean, that's not going to happen. He would lose his whole fan base, and that would just be terrible. But you could do that if you wanted to. I think it's amazing what YouTube's done.
Mr. Clay, that guy, I'm sorry, the guy on the channel there, Mr. Clay, is the guy he's working with. They did an SCP fan film, which is what they're showing right now on the screen.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool that you brought this up, because it's completely different than the short film, or not short film. I keep calling it short film. If the feature film that Danny Gevirtz is putting out, I mean, a completely different feel.
This is.
I mean, Stalker is. I mean, it couldn't be more different. Like, literally, couldn't be more different.
Yeah, because the other one's about mental health, and it's like, it's a great. I'm sure it's going to be really good. The quality will be top notch. I mean, this one, I'm not saying the quality won't be good on this one either. It's going to be completely different.
This one's going to be harder as far as the VFX you're going to have to use. I mean, you saw footage of the game. I mean, it's going to be hard to recreate stuff like this, like just in general. But I think that's awesome. I'll probably watch this because I think Stalker's super badass, and I like things like Escape from Tarkov and
that's
stuff
a good
game. And I can tell why you like firearms and stuff, right, Nicky? Like you.
Yeah, actually, my neighbor next door, Chris, all he ever does is play Escape from Tarkov. And when I would say like, oh, you're using that gun in Tarkov? Here, I've actually got that gun, and I'll show it to him. And he's like, whoa, you've actually. So yeah, no, I'm super into firearms, and I love games like this.
Yeah, so like Escape from Tarkov, Holt, if you don't know,
I don't know anything about this.
Escape from Tarkov has by far probably the best gun modeling, like in video games, and the realism. Like your gun gets jammed in a firefight, you have to unjam it in the firefight while someone's like shooting at you. It's really annoying actually, and you die from it sometimes. But yeah, I don't know, just a little backstory on how that's how I knew Nicky was. If he likes games like this, Stalker and Tarkov, and I wasn't surprised that he's into firearms and stuff like that. So,
and the games, especially Escape from Tarkov, have, because of how realistic, building your guns are in the game, it's really gotten a lot of young people into firearms. It's grown the firearm community, especially with the younger generation, a lot more because of the game.
Yeah. It's also made in Russia, interestingly.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what I was going to say is, what YouTube's done is just incredible, how they've given everybody an even playing field almost. And how a lot of the times, like, these creators here will get more views on their film than, say, someone who gets their film put on Netflix, because Netflix just buries your stuff. Like, there's no algorithm to get it to be seen unless you somehow have a lot of money for marketing or promotion. Like, it's on Netflix, and Netflix is huge, but like, how's it going to be seen if nobody knows about it? But YouTube, it's you type it in, hey, I want to watch this or whatever, and YouTube will push your stuff to the top algorithm based wise. I mean, it's just so a lot of times YouTube's the best bet for you. Yeah, you're not going to get paid X amount of money by Netflix to get to fund your show or anything like that, but that's what's so fun about it to me. And that's why so many people are using YouTube now. I mean, it's just usually the best route to go.